The other theme, I guess, would be looking ahead, how you get the average investor involved, because it's still quite daunting, right? I mean, Coinbase came out and that made it so user-friendly, and so a lot of people jumped on board that otherwise probably wouldn't be investing in crypto. But we're still at that like one exchange per one use step of it. Do you see us moving toward China, where we have like a social media platform where you can trade crypto? And
well, think about, yes, I do think we're going that direction. And I think the user experience is changing. One, the people building are getting a little more mature and realizing that there's, in a way, I'm trying to think of the right way to think about it, like almost like an arms race for users, right?
Yes.
And so like I talk to people building on Tezos, and how do they bring users in? I talk to somebody building a specific platform, a specific product, how do they bring users in? And right now it's, you know, integrate something that allows people to pay with credit card. It might mean creating a wallet for that person. It might mean them holding custody. But whatever it is, everybody's working on this solution, while at the same time, Robinhood is enabling the purchase of crypto, which people will argue it's not really you purchasing crypto, they're holding it, whatever, but they're looking into allowing you to withdraw that crypto into somewhere else.
And it's an introduction to many people, right?
It's the intro. And you know, I think that, I'm trying to remember which one, but CashApp, I think, allows you to buy Bitcoin, and I think so does some of the others, right? And Venmo. And so these things are what all of our friends are using, and they're replacing banks, right? And you know, what happens if Coinbase is the easiest on board right now? What happens when they launch their NFT platform that's coming soon? Does that mean that it's just one click to buy your Ethereum or buy your USDC or buy your Tezos and then buy an NFT? If it becomes that simple, then all of a sudden NFTs will be just that much easier. Because explain to a friend or a family member how to buy one of those apes. Like, first you go to Coinbase or Gemini or one of these places. You buy Ethereum. Wait, what's Ethereum? Then you need this thing called MetaMask or a different wallet. You probably want MetaMask, but write down all the words on a piece of paper somewhere and put it in a safe. And it's like, what? Like it's just so confusing to almost every single person. It doesn't make sense.
But to someone like you, my question is, don't you like it that way? Because it keeps out a lot of people, right? Does. I mean, because it's so confusing, it's almost like this small little club.
Well, it reminds me of like when I was a teenager and like your friend is like, I like punk rock. I just bought this Blink-182 album. And you're like, dude, you're a poser. That's not real punk rock, man. You got to listen to Bad Religion or Black Flag. And it's like these silly conversations you have, and then as you grow up, you realize like, oh, that was like their gateway drug. They found out about Green Day, they listened to the album, they started researching it on the early days of the internet, right? And like you couldn't really find stuff that easily, and they saw a flyer that Green Day opened up for a band called Op Ivy in 1985.
You really know your 90s culture.
Sorry, I'm such like a nerd for this stuff, but like you know, you realize that like the person like me, right? I found out about my favorite bands through friends or my brother or whatever. But other people, they find out about it because of that one that was on TV or the one that was on the radio, and then it sucked them in. So you want people to like that. That's where I flipped my feelings about Dogecoin and the meme coin stuff, because like I don't love it, but I think it's funny. But I also don't want like my cousins or my family members to get into crypto because of Dogecoin.
Right.
But if they do, it's like this gateway, because the next day they're like, well, I should own some Bitcoin if I'm gonna goof around with this crazy crap. And then all of a sudden they start getting into it, or they find out about Bored Apes because of Bored Ape getting some media attention, or CryptoPunks or whatever, and then they go, oh, well, what's the next one gonna be? And they start diving in, and a certain percentage are gonna become the nerds like me, right? That's like their gateway into it. And so like the walled garden is fun for like a small community, a small amount of time, but if we want it to become our full-time jobs, if I want all my friends to, you know, eat lunch tomorrow, then I need this space to grow.
Right.
And this space growing can make a huge impact on the whole world and current situations, right? So that's why it's so meaningful to me.
That would be my next question to you. So, you know, people hear about NFTs and they think to themselves, well, I don't necessarily want a Bored Ape, but you know, talk about.
You should though. I mean, you should want a Bored Ape. Just saying.
I mean, in my personal opinion, I just think a lot of the NFT art is so bro-y right now. It's like very
I
game centric.
You know what's kind of fun to just poke fun at people in the space? so many of those campaigns, this is totally a thing I discovered a few days ago. So many of those campaigns, the Bored Apes, different groups have kazoos in their mouth. All of their kazoos are in their mouth backwards. The artist who originally did it didn't know which side the kazoo you were supposed to blow in.
Really?
And there are NFTs that are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars with backwards kazoos.
Because the artist never played the kazoo.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. That's a fun fact for all these
random fact. Sorry, but it's fun to make fun of these things. But you know.
But when you talk about, you know, on a macro level, the technology behind a non-fungible token and where you see it going in the future.
It's huge. And to address the bro-y part too, though, there are some really cool things going on. Like, I'm a huge fan. We actually are doing a joint holiday party with one of our portfolio companies, Boring Stone magazines, which are a fun derivative of Bored Apes and stuff. And the Fame Lady Squad community. So the Fame Lady Squad community was this funny thing because a bunch of Russian dudes thought, oh, people really want NFTs made by women, so we're going to pretend to be women and we're going to create these NFTs. And the blew up, and it was this huge thing. And a few of my friends, they've become my friends since then, Bored Becky and NFT Ignition, how they're known on Twitter, they actually took over that community, and now it's actually run by women. Now it is run by women. Yeah, they got that group to actually hand them the keys.
Amazing.
And they took it over, and it's this fun crypto story, but there's so many cool female-led projects in the NFT space specifically, and that's actually been one of the best things about NFTs is it's actually helped the diversity of the industry in general, because it's not about who had the maybe training to be an engineer or who was in certain clubs or whatever. It's artists and misfits and weirdos, like I was saying about the punk rock community or about any of these communities. And, you know, look at artists in general, it runs the gamut of everything, right? And geography and the technical limitations are less and less there, right? So that's one of the reasons why I love NFTs. So sorry I think I didn't really answer your question.
You know, beyond art, beyond music, I mean, now we're even seeing films create, you know, NFTs. Where do you see that technology? Like, I always think of these antiquated industries like title insurance for your house and things like that, where a non-fungible token seems to solve a lot of problems.
1000%. The beauty is that, like, all of these different iterations of smart contracts can be used in so many different ways. So they can be used in financial ways, right? When we've seen the basics of that. And they can be used for art or collectibles. Right. We've seen the basics of that. But, like, what I love when you look at any single version of these things is they can unlock this whole Pandora's box of new opportunities. So title insurance is a great thing, right? Or just the title in general, or licensing, right? Yeah. They say that if you own a Bored Ape, you own the IP to that ape and that drawing, right? And so I've created, that was one of the things that Boring Stone did. My ape, I gave him a name and I gave him persona and I created a bunch of things. It wasn't to just, like, goof around, which is part of it.
Fun, yeah.
It's super fun to have this ape named Punk Ape Strong and goof around and have this fun. But what's more interesting is, like, one day if I sell my ape, is it because of the rarity levels of him having the pair of glasses that look kind of like mine, or the striped shirt, or the whatever? Or is it because he actually has licensing deals for his rights? And how is that going to be tracked in the future? And how is that going to work? And it's so funny, but when you talk about regulated financial institutions and things like that, they're literally using the same technology to track pools of loans now and create these financial instruments that are regulated, that are KYC, that aren't DeFi, aren't decentralized, but they're using that technology to streamline their industry. And so, like, we think of it as like, hey, goofy apes, or I got my Fame Lady. I've got one, you know, Frankie Fame, my favorite Fame Lady squad that my daughter named and she's all into, and, like, we have so much fun with. But that same technology is literally going to be used for our mortgage one day. Right. And then that mortgage is going to be a part of a pool of mortgages that's going to be sold from bank to bank in these cross-platform, cross-jurisdiction transactions that are actually on the blockchain. But, like, it's the same exact technology. So, you know, might look at it like a squiggle on the internet or some cartoon you love or don't love, right, today. But tomorrow, that's actually the backbone of our financial industry. And it's the same like the internet. The internet was used for crazy stuff at the beginning for chat rooms, for
Military.
trading pictures, for stealing movies and music and
Yes.
whatever. And you
The good old days.
you thought about an MP3 being an MP3, but then you literally think about it a year later, 5 years later, 10 years later, it's completely transformed the music industry, right? Like the idea that somebody would pay 99 cents for a song didn't exist before iTunes. Like it didn't, like, yeah, right, pay 99 cents for a song. Like that didn't even make sense back then.
Right.
But people are doing it all day long. And then what's funny is that's antiquated now. And the new business model has flipped over to paying a subscription fee and things like that. So this is like such early days, but I'm already seeing the technology being used by these financial institutions or by DeFi products and people who are transforming the industries that they're in.
Still ahead on Beyond the Blockchain, Alon's company is jumping on great new ideas in crypto.
Essentially, we're the first check into some of these blockchain companies.